This is Radio Now 95.3 FM.
Good evening and thanks for staying with Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos. My name is Camry Apollo. It's now 8 minutes past 5 o'clock. Apologies for the late start of the program. We have a pretty disturbing, well, not disturbing, we have a pretty serious conversation to have with you this evening, as usual. On the big story today, we're talking about preventing mass abductions and securing our schools. Now, in light of the upsurge in reporting kidnapping across the land, Nigeria, we need to come up with an answer to this crime, this kidnapping that is beginning to threaten our socio-economic lives. Last Monday, a school bus conveying 6 pupils, 3 teachers, and the bus driver of the Apostolic Faith Church Primary and Secondary School in Ekiti State was ambushed by kidnappers. The criminals had demanded 100 million naira as ransom for the return of the children, the driver, and the teachers. And one of the relatives of the abducted persons, says that ransom has been reduced by the criminals from 100 million naira to 15 million naira. The reduction came when 4 million naira was raised and offered to the kidnappers. It was rejected. The money was rejected by the kidnappers, and they said they would not take anything less than 15 million naira. Now, this incident is the most recent in a growing list of mass abductions that goes all the way back. An international NGO, Save the Children, in their report at the end of the third quarter last year, their report says that more than 1,680 school children have been kidnapped in Nigeria since 2014, when we saw the abduction of 276 schoolgirls from Chibok in Borno State. That's, again, 1,680 school children have been abducted since that 2014 abduction. Now, in addition to the abductions, over 180 school children were killed, and nearly 90 were injured in various forms. And all of this happened in 70 attacks. Again, 70 attacks between 2014 and all the way up to the end of last year. 70 attacks on schools. And it's a very, very dire situation. So the question we're asking on the program today is, how do we secure our schools, our homes, and even ourselves? How do we secure ourselves in light of this act of kidnapping? What's the answer to kidnapping, especially mass abduction in Nigeria? Now, joining me to find answers to these questions and much more is Dr. George Ubo. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Panic Alert Security Systems. He's also the Chairman and Executive Director of the George Ubo Whistleblowers Network. Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening and welcome to The Big Story.
Good evening, sir. Nice to be here.
It's a pleasure to always have you on, Dr. Ubo. So again, this issue of kidnapping, there have been increased reporting about kidnapping, especially around the Federal Capital Territory. That has raised a lot of eyebrows, people asking questions about, where is safe in Nigeria if the seat of power can be, be passing through this issue of kidnapping that we hear reported. So I'm going to take it from the perspective. Now, this is your expertise, Dr. Ubo. Your company, you offer panic security services. So we're looking to technology. Can technology possibly be the answer to securing, or at least giving us a chance against mass abductions? Let's start with the school. This was a bus that was taking some pupils with some teachers and a driver. They were stopped by gunmen somewhere in Ekiti, in between some towns, and they were abducted. And there have been numerous abductions before them. So we're still seeing people taken in large numbers. Recently in the Federal Capital Territory, the case of Nabiha and her family still resonates with a lot of people. Thieves gaining entry into somebody's home, their place of sanctuary, and forcefully removing people in large numbers and going off with them. Can technology help us, give us a fighting chance in stopping kidnapping? How do we respond to this, Dr. Ubo?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Polo. Well, in my capacity as the Chief Executive Officer of Panic Alert Security Systems in a joint crime-fighting venture with the Nigerian Police Force, I attended the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, JOS 2008. I led the groups that reviewed the extant policy on security and defense. A communique was sent to the former late president, Musa Yar'Adua. May he rest in peace. Now, after that, I penned a blueprint. That blueprint, first I called it Homeland Security from Bureau of Integrated Technologies for Security and Anti-Corruption. It doesn't matter the nomenclature. The point is, in any country that is serious about security, you must embrace technology in a multidimensional way. When you do that, it creates deterrence from the beginning of time, even in the Bible. I mean, committing crime is in human nature. It's you as a country that must set up the requisite security apparatus. Now, what I proposed first is what I call IID, Information Identity Database. If you do not have the database of people in any country, foreigners, even your people in the diaspora, you can fight security. You just waste time. Why do that? Any crime you commit, you must either speak, walk, touch. All these vices we are talking about. Now, if we had database, whenever a crime is committed, you go there, you dust the fingerprint, you go to your lab, your grid, and you now start picking them up one by one. When that starts happening, you start creating a huge deterrence, because we see the issue is, I remember when I set up electric fence with a panic button and an alert system, the late CP of FCT, Haruna John, may he rest in peace, arrested some people on Aso Drive, and they said they stay away, I'm talking now, 2009-10, that they stay away from houses with electric fence because they know when you touch the wire, it alerts the police. We had our control at the first headquarters, and boom, within 5 minutes, the police will respond. So what you have done is you create that deterrence. We do not have the requisite technology in place in a multidimensional way, from your 911 service to your panic button to your CCTV. For instance, I always give reference to the Boston bombers, the Tsarnaev brothers. It was a shop owner on the street that captured photos of the Tsarnaev brothers.
Yes.
And of course, because they had a database. So it's not the government that did this now. It is a shop owner. So when you are speaking to Nigerians, it's like if someone would build a home of $500 million. As a security company, when you are marketing fire extinguisher of 100,000, they don't want to buy. And I say that because a home was burnt down in Asokoro, and when that happens, they now started being reactive. So I have preached and preached and preached. All forms of vices, from kidnapping to armor, they're going to have a field day because we don't have what it takes.
Database.
We don't have the database. You need to have the data. What we propose is not even fingerprint, voice, iris, and all that. So even when you pick up the phone, call someone and threaten or demand ransom, that voice, once you pick that voice, because you already have the database of the voices, you're going to pick that person up. Now, when you do that, you have to be hard on everybody living in Nigeria. Say, if you have in U.S. today, if you have interaction with the U.S. police or immigration and you don't have your social security card, or they don't know you, or they are so scared because they know you can commit crime. So when you have interaction with anybody in Nigeria that doesn't have that, it's not in the database, you have a card or whatever, once you punch it in, just like a POS,
yes,
you show. Once you meet someone that doesn't have it, first is you get that database right there and then. Now, if that person was involved in a crime committed, say people that did this kidnapping, you were able to get the fingerprints, A year later, one of the culprits has interaction with the police or whatever, and you now get the database of that person right there. Boom, it's going to query it and say this is the person or one of the people involved in the robbery on so date. Finish.
Okay, Doctor. Sorry to interrupt you. So before we move too far from the technology, so first of all, as you said, we need a database, and then we need to be able to access that database, and it will point the fingers as crimes are committed across the land. If people commit a crime in one part, they go to another. If we have the database, we can detect and pick them up. Now, the former Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantami, he talked about a SIM card registration, and he talked about the benefits from a security perspective. Do we have the ability, the technology to track and triangulate phone calls? Because like some of these kidnappers, when they pick people, they might use the phones of the victims themselves, to make the calls they need to make and make the demands they need to demand. Do we have a way of tracking and triangulating this?
Right. That is why I use the phrase multidimensional. So when you get the database, that's the beginning, the raw material, the database now, from that database, you store it. Whenever there is any crime, even you go to the bank, you go to cash a stolen check or whatever. After you leave, they found out that the check you came to cash is stolen. They just run the CCTV footage, get your face, go to the database. So everything you are doing revolves around database. So now, to answer your question about Bantani, in my blueprint, I talked about that. We have NIMSI, we have BVN, we have your driver's license. So what we need to do is just harmonize everything. It's not rocket science. Even the issue of voice. Whenever everything is put in the cloud, whenever somebody put their biometrics, their voice, their iris, even their gates, the way they walk,
really?
In the cloud. Yeah, you put it in the cloud. So if such person now, there's a crime, you don't worry. I mean, that's what they're doing. When you go to the crime scene, they must leave fingerprint. If they have CCTV, of course, at that point you're going to imbibe CCTV. That is why. Even most homes abroad now, I mean, I'm speaking to you from South Africa. Most homes CCTV, because you have to still have the police to bring. I had something happen to me in Abuja. I had the CCTV footage, and all those guys are still, they were picked up by SARS. You have to, as a homeowner, as a business owner, as a citizen, whatever, do your bit. So to help the police, but the issue is you must have the database. Now, somebody's calling you, threatening you. All you need to do is you record the call. They have phones now that automatically record, so it's not rocket science.
Yes.
Once you get that voice, you take it to the security agency. They run it into the database. That voice is going to turn out. You cannot have two people with the same voice. It's not possible. These are natural identity. You cannot mutate. Once you put that voice in, it's going to turn out that person's name and photo and everything. Same thing with CC, same thing with biometrics. But the good thing is, once these kidnappers or these robbers start seeing how easily they catch their
fellow criminals
or whatever, their other criminals, it's going to deter them. Deterrence is the thing now. As I speak to you, there is no single armed robbery. A bank robbery in South Africa. You can Google it. As far back as 2010, I did a demo CBN, and some South African came, because when you have panic buttons in all the banks, and any armed robber that walks into a bank, it's a death trap, because they're going to swoop on you in 5 minutes. What really happens there is what they call smash and grab. If you're on the highway driving, they can smash your window and get it. But again, that is not as bad as somebody coming to the bank or your home and having a field day. If they come to your home now, the electric fence say, this is where I get some of my technology. Once you cut the wire, within 5 minutes, police will come. So what I'm saying is we have not done our part as a government.
Okay,
deterrence.
Okay, sorry to interrupt again. Now, let me ask, because your work brings you into close proximity with the police. I'm a bit concerned because the police recently, Prince Adejobi, the spokesperson of the Nigeria Police Force, Muyiwa Adejobi, he recently talked about tinting cars. And he said, look, this kidnapping issue, this, that, the other, they're going to ban tinted cars for coming in. I'm a bit concerned because if we're still thinking at that level, it means we are not anywhere near trying to prevent or compete with these criminals or nab or beat or defeat them. We're still thinking about banning tinted cars in the hopes of preventing crimes like kidnapping and murders. I don't know, how do you assess the police force and what their challenges are in trying to keep abreast with today's level of crime?
Okay, when I set up my company, Panic Alert Security Systems Limited, in 2007, Sir Michael Kiro was the IG, I wrote a statement. I said, if I remember, that comparing Nigerian police force to their counterparts in the Western world is like comparing a farmer with a cutlass to a farmer with a tractor. That until Nigerian police force are given the requisite technology as their Western counterparts, you cannot compare. You have, let me tell you something, man. You cannot put, and my company came about when I took the ambassadors to meet the then IG about the robberies at the embassies and all that. You can't put a policeman in front of a bank. That is a sitting target. There is what you call element of surprise in any crime. If a policeman is in front of the bank, that because an armed robber walking by just surprises him and shoots him, does not make him inefficient. You need to apply your security and remove them. That is why in US, you will not see policemen in banks or homes. That's what they talk about, coffee and donuts. Policemen are in their respective police vehicles, drinking coffee and eating donuts. You, as the bank, even in South Africa here, you are required to have panic button. Press the panic button if you're in danger. Then the element of surprise will be on the armed robbers. They will now come in there, boom, and get them. So it is how you plan it. Talking about the Nigerian police force, to be honest with you, when a policeman stands under the sun, and yes, we can criticize all one. They don't. A police, what you call swift response, is for you to get the information to the police to respond quickly. So that has to do with when you plan your security architecture. Anywhere in US where you dial 911, even if it's in the countryside, even if in the boony, police must come, because they've been able to plan it so that no matter where you are in the US, there's a police vehicle that can come to you within 10, max 20 minutes, that radius. So that is how you plan your security, your architecture. Now, but when you now want to start putting policemen in homes, that means it's really for the rich. And even then, that is not the best way, because even when I took the ambassadors to meet the IG, there was issue of possible gross negligence or possible collusion. But then I told them, don't blame the police in your respective countries. You don't do what we are doing. We don't. You don't give policemen. You don't put policemen in embassies. They say yes. I said, okay. Why don't you embrace technology? So that was why I started security in embassies and all that. So what I'm trying to say is that lacuna, that bridge needs to be, that gap needs to be bridged. Yeah, we need to do the needful. Get technology this day and age. Now, another one that you do is, even from your cell phone, you can press panic button to communicate the security agencies to come to you. The issue is being able to alert the security agencies when you are in danger. Now, issue of kidnapping in Abuja, I had a meeting with school owners in Abuja, personal tracker, even the schools panic button, whatever. The issue is we don't have the database. Okay, somebody comes, because these crimes, you can't really blame the person driving the car. These are spontaneous. Nobody, you are not psychic, you are not a native doctor, you don't know, you're not a mother, you don't know when somebody is planning to come and kidnap you or whatever. Yes. So the issue is, you don't know. I mean, these are spontaneous. So the issue is not, you have to. And what we propose is, like I said, multidimensional, the database, CCTV. Of course, we know what happened with the CCTV in Abuja. In fact, that meeting was when the IG revealed to us that The CCTV was done in Abuja before this other one that was done for $497 million. That, in fact, when they were installing it, I called a couple of senators and I said, look, this is not going to work because CCTV, the CCTV must be suspended all the way up. If you're in Abuja when they were doing that one, you can actually use a stone and throw the camera throughout the camera.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So from the get-go, I knew it wasn't going to work. It has to be suspended all the way up. So and that gets us into the corruption angle. That is why I talk about security and corruption, because they are both inextricably intertwined. It is still the corruption when you now want to do. We know during Obasanjo, if you were in Nigeria, the Sagem was a company, I think French company, that was to do identity for Nigeria that was plagued with corruption. Abuja CCTV project, $497 million, plagued with corruption, because that was supposed to be a pilot project. I think it was only Fashola that got it right in Lagos, if I'm not mistaken. Now, so that is another thing. We can talk all we want. When we now decide to embrace technology and dish out the funds, do we have people to monitor?
Yes.
Do we have the right people to do it? My brother, it's just a lot of issues in Nigeria.
So basically, what you're saying right now, the criminals, they are ahead because we've not done the fundamentals to catch or to prevent, deter them, and possibly apprehend them when they commit the crime because of lack of database, and then our technology is not enough.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. You remember when they broke into Kuje prison?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Now, my company had been pitching security to the prison authorities to make Kuje prison actually the pilot project, where you have, as if I was being prophetic, I even offered wall vibration sensor. When you hit the wall, it will communicate the control room. The prison control room, we set the control room so they come. That's exactly how they came. They broke down the wall. I had a field day. So, we've been on this for I guess maybe when our children grow up and, imbibe, deal with this matter, then, but it's really the way it is. The situation is gloomy.
All right, Doctor, just to quickly wrap it up now, schools protection, because this is where we started out. We have some schools in some rural areas, and there is one common denominator that keeps coming up, and that is, you hear the words, the abducted people that entered the bush, the abducted people that went into the forest. So are we saying our security agencies and operatives don't have an ability to police, these bushes and forests and whatnot the criminals seem to like to use as hideouts?
The issue of mass kidnapping, like the Chibok girls, where you match 100, 200, come on, even from my control room, even our U.S. government was laughing at us, the UK government you cannot have 100 people camera. We have drones. We have technology that can point you where you are. You cannot have 10, 20, 100 people walking in the forest without knowing where they are. In this day and age, it's not possible. I am telling you that. I know technology. It is not possible. We have geolocation. We have geomapping. We have so many technologies now that drones that can pick, then that is going to get into the lackadaisical or unwillingness or, again, possible collusion, because Nigerians, we suffer from brain drain. Most of these companies, tech companies globally, Nigerians are there. It's not like our people don't know what we need to do. Taking that leap to do it is the issue. Yeah. You know how many Nigerians you name it. Your Googles, you name it. They are there. They are pushing Nigerians all over the world. I'm telling you. So we know we have the experts, but when they come to Nigeria to see a minister, the minister will keep them waiting 6 hours. As if they have to do them a favor. So our priorities are really reversed, to be honest with you. So they know how to get the technologies. They know what to do. And that is why I got to a point in my write-ups and looking at what is going on. I don't even say corruption anymore. I just say people are just, wicked. Because it's not only corruption. You can even do it and make money 2 times because we know that they're gonna multiply. They're gonna add 2 times the money for any account. But adding it is okay. Take the money, but still do the job. They will not. They will not.
Interesting.
I came to South Africa this morning from Addis Ababa, Ethiopian Air. I was the one, that stopped Hadi Sirika, the Nigerian Air, when he came out to
parade an
say that
aircraft.
Nigeria was not costing us anything. 4 days later, he came to say it's costing us some money. And before you know it, lady with a lot of corruption issues. For 8 years, that guy was Minister of Aviation. Not a single, can't even get a national carrier. Now wants Ethiopian Air MD to come and set up for us. So what is it?
Well, that's a conversation for another day because as it stands, yes, Doctor, the current minister actually has said they are looking into that. So I will be reaching out to you with respect to that conversation as well.
The current minister knows me very well. He was quasi, an activist too. So I'm going to write him a letter too because we're flying out of Abuja. In the international airport, the escalator wasn't working. I would give him the one for local. The one local in Abuja doesn't work, but international with all the foreigners there and everything, it was really, really, really embarrassing. So
okay.
What does it take for this to?
Well, it takes conversations like this and us insisting and demanding the right thing be done. But I must say thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us this evening, Dr. George Uboh. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay, Dr. George Uboh, the CEO of Panic Alert Security Systems, is the Chairman and Chief Executive Director of the George Uboh Whistleblowers Network. I don't know if I'm encouraged or discouraged with his observations regarding security. He says, look, because we don't have a database that we can access, it is making it difficult to keep up with crime. And even when we do have technologies, as he says we've got drones and so on, it's a wonder why we're not doing what he says we ought to do. All right, that's it for the big story this evening.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM.